Hello, ladies and gentlebots. Welcome to the Sentai Writers United podcast. We have a great show for you tonight. Hope you're all excited. We're going to get our introductions done here. As always, I'm Volt. I will be hosting you today, because we're doing this whole rotation thing. After that, we have CJ, the Toy Man.
How's it going, my favorite people?
I thought I was the favorite.
We're all favorites, okay?
Yeah. After that, we have Thomas, the Toku Buster.
Hello, everybody. And also, one more thing before we start. Got a brand new set of headphones, so now I'm not going to be entering in and out of this thing like I kept doing last time. Anyways,
So we're just going to kind of shuffle right into the news for some interesting bits of news. And by interesting, I mean they're really kind of quick. Actually, I should address one problem. We're kind of down a few people because a lot of people are out at Morphicon or busy with work.
Or just plain darn lazy.
Nah,
We're
that's
not going
nothing.
there now.
Anyways, to hell with them. On to the fun. So our first bit of news is the Drive logo has been, I guess we can say, leaked. I mean, it's in a magazine. Someone had to pre-approve it, so yeah. Anyways, yeah. Also, we get a better look at that suit. Still, it's kind of funky.
I completely disagree still, but hey.
Yes.
Yeah, there's the logo.
If you ask
Thomas,
me,
what do
and
you
honestly...
think?
Oh, sorry.
Say what, Volt?
I asked if you had any thoughts.
Oh,
wow,
I
we're
did.
off to a fantastic start.
Sorry, I was confused for a sec. I think what I should say is, looking at the logo from what I see of it, I think the only thing that could make this more complete is for this guy to have a tragic backstory and then his parents were killed, and then this entire thing would go full circle, and he turned to a motorcycle. Because that's exactly the vibes that I'm getting from this guy, and the logo.
Man,
Interesting.
just wanting things to go all V3 on us.
No, I didn't say... I'm not saying V3, I'm saying freaking Axel.
Eh? Mm, okay. CJ, what's on your mind?
Just looking at the logo, it looks extremely reminiscent of Deno's logo.
I was thinking that too.
I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah, I actually was too at first, though I thought of Axel because I just thought of, the red text and, how what a highlighted it all is, that, just kind of speedy, sleek look at the text. So I'm just like, it reminds me of Axel. But yeah, it definitely reminds me of Deno, too.
There's that, but there is another thing we can talk about here, which is the drive suit, because this is a much better shot we've had of it.
Yeah.
Especially, the fact that he has this little holder thing for shift cars, and there are 3 of them. And so far, we've only seen 2.
Though, what I'm thinking... I'm actually thinking that these things are going to work like the wizard rings. That each of them don't. Some of them can be forms, but then some of them have certain powers to them.
Hopefully. I'm also now noticing just how big that fucking tire is.
Yes, I mean...
That tire is fucking huge! There is one other thing on this cover that's really bugging me. Which is, we got Drive here, we got Gaim. Hello, Kiva, what are you doing here? What is going on here?
Interesting.
Yes.
Riderception's what's going on here. Well, the thing that I'm saying about this is, honestly, with that dang suit, that tire had better be significant. I mean, he better turn into a freaking tire or something, or else that looks like an overbulky thing from the Klingons in Star Trek.
It really should, because I can see that there's a lot of detail under the tire, and I'd rather see that than the tire.
Now, a person that I'm talking to on Facebook, he's our regular Facebook commentator, Mr. J.C. Calloway, says that this actually kind of looks like Forza, and I do have to agree with him just because the belt itself is big and clunky, and the belt for Forza was big and clunky. So it makes
this thing I've used
Yes,
many
you
times.
wonder if
You have a toy.
Uh,
But, I kind of can't say he looks like Forza, because he doesn't have a lot of what makes Forza Forza. He looks a lot what I think they would do if they made Axel the main rider.
which is why I made the Axel reference.
But it just doesn't look right. Yeah. Anyways, any other thoughts or?
What I do like is what were you gonna say, CJ? Sorry.
All I was going to say is that it's cool that my favorite rider is on the cover.
He's just party crashing.
It's like, I'm back.
But
and
for
a
me,
bunch of people yell in anger.
Yes.
But for me, what I actually the suit, yes, it may be slightly clunky, but I actually really, 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 really dig that helmet design. Like, extremely so. With the spoiler kind of on the top of the helmet, the white stripes going down it, and I love the way that face mask looks along with the clear, not the colored, but the clear visor. It actually does give a very futuristic-esque racer vibe, and I really, really like that.
Here's the thing. Like, this suit doesn't look clunky to me. It actually looks incredibly sleek. But the tire, when you put that on there, just makes it look weird.
Yes,
If they
the tire's
got
kind of the
rid of the tire, it would look really good. Like,
yes.
really, really good. But no, we have to put a tire there to make you understand he's a car-themed rider.
Though I will say, yes, the tires. You know what?
Go ahead.
Actually, looking at it closer, you guys are actually kind of right, because honestly, looking at it, I like the suit. Of course, I like the suit, and it looks good. But the tire really does seem kind of out of place, really, because it looks like it doesn't even attach to the suit. It just looks like this weird tire sash almost.
It's just sort of there. Like, the thing that I see with it is, and I mean that's the main part that's making the suit clunky. If that was not there, as has been stated, it would be wonderful. But as I have said, that tire, unless it serves a purpose, is just sort of there. If it's just sort of there, like serving no purpose, then why?
But if they were to take that tire off and then put a little bit more detail on the chest, just not like bulging out detail, but just a little bit of car-themed detail on it, kind of like Axel, but a little bit different, I would really think the suit would be phenomenal. That tire brings it down a little bit for me, but I don't think it's as bad of a problem as CJ and Volt thinks it is.
Well, it's more of, to me, that the tire's kind of there to stick with what Bandai and Toei have been doing recently, which is they have to, in a way, remind us what the theming for the show is. like with Forze, he's space, he's an astronaut, so we're gonna make his head look like a rocket ship. Keep in mind, I liked the rocket ship head. With
That was supposed
Gaim,
to be
he's
a
fruit
rocket
and
ship.
samurai themed, so he has a giant orange drop on his head and unfold into samurai armor. Okay. A bit weird.
But the suit looks cool nevertheless.
But it's just kind of this thing where they gotta, like, make you understand this is the theming, which was kind of fun back in the day, trying to guess the theming. Like, my god, Ixa has so many motifs to him. Like, to talk about Kiva up there in a way, Ixa is, like, representing the White Knight, the Christian Cross, the Templars, the Sun.
Basically, anything that destroys evil vampire vermin, as it would be considered.
Yeah. It's very clever theming. But with this, it's just kind of shoving it in our face. And that, I think at this point we're just kind of ranting about a tire, so I'm going to stop.
We should probably stop, but
Move on.
what I'm waiting for right now, the only thing I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for more magazines, scans to appear, mainly from the supposed issue of what, Televi magazine or Televi-kun?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'm waiting for at this point.
Here's hoping that makes us not hate the tire.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Anyways, on to the next thing. Or is everybody done?
We're done.
Okay, next thing. So apparently, Bandai of America listened and Drakira's pink again.
Woo!
Thank God.
For reasons unknown, they've decided to just change the Triceratops back to being pink instead of purple, which still made no sense. But yeah.
Well, according to the article, enough people of the fandom, said, "Hey, change it back." You know, that's the only thing that I can understand. That's the only thing. I mean, that's just what the article says. Which, you know, as we've stated countless times before, it makes no sense why to change this one when in years past they've actually made the change, like bringing up the Shogun Megazord. They changed it from a white motif to a pink motif, and nobody batted an eye then. And even then, and even recently, there have been pink Megazord or pink Zords before, and nothing was said about those.
Yep.
What's funny is I actually think the reason they changed it is kind of what we mentioned when we talked about this, is that making it purple, A, wouldn't match with the Pink Ranger, B, it just really didn't work, especially because there's already a purple Zord anyways in there. So it's either that, or it's the fact that the fandom just flipped their crap a little
no,
too much.
that's kind of what I think it is we just kind of yelled loud enough. And by the way, to anyone listening to this is not my endorsement of saying, like, if you complain enough, they'll change things, because they won't.
Yeah.
Unless it will affect their sales. I just think that there was enough of a negative reaction that they kind of were like, I think we should change it back to pink.
Yep.
So,
what about pink?
I was basically stating that you shouldn't take this as a, if you bitch enough, they'll change it.
Yeah, like I think that's what some people are thinking. I've heard a lot in the fandom about this, and I've heard a lot lately, and it's just like now people are like, "Oh, Saban's finally listening to us. Maybe they'll listen to us about other things like this and that and the other." And I'm thinking, I don't think that's exactly why.
The only reason that they changed this is because it was becoming such a loud enough outcry that they realized it might hurt sales of the toy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So.
I am glad they changed it back to pink, but I don't think the fandom moaning and whining about
no,
it is...
that is a part of it, because it was such enough of an outcry that they realized it might affect toy sales.
Here's my question.
Yeah,
Saban usually doesn't do this sort of thing, do they? They don't usually...
This really isn't much of Saban as it is the Bandai US toy company, not Bandai Entertainment. That's sadly been dead for a while.
Aww.
Darn.
Again, they just realized, yeah, this will affect the toys' sales. That's not good.
Of course.
So pretty much it was looked at in the aspect of, we leave it the way we originally wanted to do it, having it purple, or and risk having no sales, or change it back because all of these people are saying we need to do it, and we have our sales again. It was that, or it was one or the other, and anything that has a money-making profitability, they're going to vote in the way of having sales. So
yeah, I can see that. I just think it's unusual for Bandai or whatever. It feels unusual for them to step back and change something just because the cry was loud enough.
It kind of is.
It's understandable, because look at it from this point. Go ahead, Noah.
I'm just saying that it's actually very odd for some companies to change stuff back like this. I've seen a lot of toys out of the Transformers fandom go through changes about a week after their release. I mean, there was one who had like really nasty claws, and a week after his release, they started, for some reason, clipping the tips off the claws because they were sharp.
Teach a kid not to poke it if it's sharp. That's just me.
So, Dad, and they haven't gone back on that because they don't feel like they should.
But yeah, that is interesting that they tried to change, that they changed some stuff just because the cry was big enough.
Mm-hmm.
It is odd, but they did it. Which
it's
I
odd,
think makes a lot of people
completely
happy.
unheard of.
But now that I believe everyone's done with the articles.
I think we're done with that.
Now, time to get on to the meat of this thing.
This is my show.
Good point.
I'll send the liner.
I have a liner of my own, gosh darn it.
No! I apologize for that. I apologize if that was loud. Yeah, no, I have a grand liner. Your liner's kind of meh. But I guess going on to the topic, wow, it's only been 18 minutes. This is going to be a quick one.
Yeah.
It is only 3 of us. This is going to be weird. We're going to go into Super Rescue mode and talk about Kyuukyuu Sentai GoGoFive.
Yeah!
Actually, technically would be GoGo3 at this point. I had to do it. I had to. That was too good of a joke not to take advantage of.
Just gotta undermine and derail everything.
Derail! Oh! Oh!
That wasn't even meant to be a
I
pun.
know! Unintentional puns!
This is personally, to me, I've seen a little bit of this show raw, but this is the first time I've watched it subbed, and I love its American counterpart, Lightspeed, to death. So this was a really fun bit to me, and in honor of one of the characters, who's possibly my favorite right now, I got some milk.
Mr. Diamond.
Good old Diamond.
So, what we're going to do is not really talk entirely about episodes, but stuff we liked and disliked within the 12 that we saw. You should keep in mind we've seen the first 12, so that is up to the debut of this giant guy right here, the Grandliner.
I actually,
So
Bad
with
boss.
that, I'm going to open the floor to anyone who has something they want to talk about in this show.
well, before I get to anything, you mentioned Lightspeed Rescue. There's actually Lightspeed Rescue. I actually did watch that when I was young, and I actually remember a lot of things about Lightspeed Rescue. So I'm very fond of GoGoFive in that way too. But there was actually something I remembered, and I know this isn't an episode of Adaptation, DK. Thank you, Speed Racer Flubber. But I want to acknowledge something adaptation-wise that was kind of that I like, and I'm going to the Mecha here. I'm kind of jumping to the end at this point, but I want to talk about something with the Grandliner that I really liked that I didn't like what they did with the Lightspeed Rescue version, and it was that in the in the American version, Lightspeed Rescue, they had this whole thing with the electronics and all, with the electric shock. There's an electric shock. They're the same in there, but in the Lightspeed Rescue version, it's a power surge multiple times, and that's why the electric shocks happen. In this case, Grandliner, because of how powerful it is, actually absorbs in the power of the essentially not absorbs the power of the Rangers, but inflicts these electric shocks. And that's what the training was for. So that built that up, but I've never really liked the way that Lightspeed Rescue did that. But that's just, I just think that because I really liked how Grandliner works in the show.
Well, so this is where I kind of come in like the wrecking ball that I can be. But so I actually like that adaptation. I think it's a really smart move, especially when you learn exactly why it's doing that, because we've actually talked about this before on another podcast. I believe it was the Bandai US versus Japan.
Yeah.
Which no, it was Power Rangers versus Super Sentai. That's right. So kind of with the Lightspeed, it was very much the rail rescues were never meant to combine. They were just supposed to be transports, but they were kind of building up that the Lightspeed Megazord was starting to lose its effectiveness. That the monsters were getting more powerful, so Miss Fairweather repurposes the rail rescues to have a combination. And the overloads and power surges are what we call development bugs. That was she didn't get to fine tune the thing. It was, we need the super train now. So we send this thing out while it's still buggy. And that causes the power overloads. In this, it's kind of actually very similar, but they actually state more the electromagnetic waves really hurt and that they can kill you.
Yep.
They never say that in Lightspeed, but it's basically the same principle.
Yeah.
The thing is so powerful it causes power surges. Except in GoGoFive, they openly admit, yeah, those can kill you.
It does that.
No,
yes,
no,
which is what
they just admit, yeah, that can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
They never say that in Lightspeed, but effectively the premise is still the same.
I just think with Lightspeed they did it for added drama. I think that's what it. To me, that's what it felt like. It felt as if they were doing it for added drama.
Well, I'm kind of with Noah on that one. It wasn't that it was done with added drama per se. It was better development of the actual Super Train. I mean, they acknowledged, what's going on with the power surges. Well, it wasn't supposed to do this. Not at all. We can't help it. And so you needed it. We sent it out. It's buggy, but hey, it got the job done. But it wasn't necessarily a drama thing per se, or I wouldn't say it was. I would more so say, pretty much, if you ask me, it was pretty much to show that, hey, until this gets worked out, we need to use this particular mecha or this Megazord very sparingly. This can do damage to us. And that gets developed on in Lightspeed, whereas in GoGoFive, you find out right then and there.
It can kind of kill you. Now,
Yep.
But
one
yeah,
thing with the Lightspeed, they never actively say that the power surges are a bug. It's very much implied.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's implied that the Super Train program just got initialized that episode.
But didn't it get initialized that episode the same with GoGoFive?
Well, it's
No.
more of she's been working on the whole making it Super Train for a while, but wasn't ready to actually activate the Super Train program. It's just her hand was forced.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do to build Dio? I saw its legs.
I just taken him apart.
No, but what I'm saying is that in the GoGoFive version, they had it to where they put in the program and they got that all set up within that episode as well.
Incorrect. If you remember, it was episode 11 that they were talking about that.
They were talking about it, but they actually installed the program and got it set up in 12.
They finalized the Renketsugatai combination in that episode. Everything else had been done. They just needed to change a couple things.
Okay.
It's kind of the same in both, but we're talking more about the differences between Lightspeed
I know, but that's only because
right now. But
yeah, we kind of need to
that was
get
just,
off that.
So on to that, I kind of will move to something that's still a little bit the differences, but more just something I find interesting because while watching GoGoFive, I noticed a lot of monster suits that we never saw in Lightspeed.
That tends to happen in the adaptation, which pisses me off because there's a lot of them that would be killer awesome in Lightspeed. But
like we never saw the black version of the lava golem suit. Nor did we see that smoke monster.
Wait,
I don't
we
remember
never saw
that
the black version? We never saw the black.
The one at the beginning.
In Lightspeed, we never got the black version of the lava golem monster.
No,
which was the beginning.
I swear I remember that one in Lightspeed.
We never got the black one. We got the red one.
I know we got the red one, but I also thought we got the black one too. But
No,
that's fine with me.
I don't think so. I can check.
If you want to.
But yeah, and then there's that smoke monster, and I really don't think that explosion monster showed up in Lightspeed because explosions.
Yeah. Which one was the explosion? What episode?
I think that was episode 3? Yeah, that was episode 3. The one that, like, Daimon got hurt and Nagare got blamed for it.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Aha! Him. Okay.
Which, by the way...
The gasoline dude.
Yeah, that whole thing... I'm trying to figure out how to put this because it's that plot that Decina is her name? Ah, man.
Don't you mean... Wait, I think it's Dinos, I think?
Yeah, Dinos, there. That whole plan she had of just, make a huge explosion and level the city. That was refreshingly straightforward.
Yes, not only was that straightforward, but I actually thought it was a really... I was literally talking within the episode to myself, and I was like, wow, that's actually a really, really straightforward and good plan.
It's just... Dang! They have a lot of really straightforward plans in this, and it's really refreshing.
Unlike some plans that are just sort of off the wall, like go attack this building and get into their basement and steal this and do that. It's like, that's not straightforward. That's complicated.
But I'm actually going to just kind of let you guys talk now because I've been ranting about some stuff, and I'm gonna stop now.
Well, the thing that I absolutely love about this is it's the first time in Sentai, at least recent Sentai, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the first time in Sentai that a family is actually the Ranger set. The second time being Magi Ranger.
Actually, no, I don't believe that's the case. Actually,
no, it's
5-man is the first. First
5-man had 5-man was weird because they were not only an entire family, they were a family of teachers.
Yeah, and they all taught. Didn't they all teach in the same school?
Yeah. So it's really weird and just kind of like I don't want to go to that school because most of the teachers there are all part of the same family, and B, they're superheroes. So
pretty much.
But I don't
want to be the delinquent of that school.
But as I said, recent Sentai. I didn't say old Sentai. I just said recent.
Yeah, the last time we had the entire Sentai be a family in the literal sense and not the figurative was Magi, and before that we had
GoGoFive.
Yeah, but here's the thing, and I believe this is a first for Sentai, where the entire villains are a family.
Yes.
I don't think what's the villain group of Magi Ranger? What is that, CJ?
The Mado. No, that's not them.
I don't believe they were a family.
In Furcia.
In Furcia. Yeah, I don't think
they are not a family.
No, they were not a family. So this is literally a Sentai that is family versus family,
which is interesting.
Well, you also see that with the Edo period firefighters, family versus family. When that particular episode came up, it was in that instance family versus family.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that I liked about this is, as I said, it's the fact that it's a family. And as I said, it's the first recent Sentai that. Well, okay, I'll put it this way. It's the first recent Sentai that got adapted to the U.S. that actually was a family. As Volt and Thomas said, namely Volt, the villains were family as well, which was pretty cool too. And it not only has, their struggle with the enemy that they're going up against, it also has their struggle within themselves. Mm-hmm. Because you have because you have their mother. This is spoilers if you've not seen it. Their mother has died, and their father had disappeared for 10 years. Well, out of the blue, their father just comes right back in, and so they're having their conflict with him.
Oh man!
And the fact that they fired them all.
No. It's we need to talk about the dad in general in a bit, but like
yes.
We need to talk about Mondo.
Let me finish my little thing real quick, and then we'll go on to that. But it's not just their fighting against their enemies. It's the fighting that they encounter amongst themselves, which makes this Sentai a lot more believable with the family aspect. As much as I hate saying it, Magi Ranger to me did not show the true aspect of a family, because there were some aspects of fighting amongst themselves, but it was not there all the time. Whereas in GoGoFive, it's in almost every episode, at least up to what we have seen. and it's awesome. So it shows the struggle that not only against their enemies but themselves, which is killer.
Oh yeah, it's it's a criticism. It's very much like how oh man, getting my words to work here is rough. It's kind of the same thing with going a little out of the box here, but Teen Titans. They're very much like a fan. And I'm talking the old comics because they're very much a family in the good and the bad. Because it's really hard for them to confide in each other, but also to work together because they're always with each other, and sometimes they just want some space.
Yes.
And I do kind of find it hilarious that they have that entire episode to explain why this whole family has gone into rescue work with the Edo period Japan stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have the brother as the firefighter that actually goes into the fire. You have Nagare, who's the one that uses the water hose. You have Sho, who flies the rescue copters. Daimon, the only one who actually isn't in the rescue business because he's a police officer.
Wait, he's a police officer?
Yeah, Daimon Yellow, he was a policeman.
Oh, I actually didn't realize that.
There's Pink also kind of falls in this because she's a paramedic who works for the hospital. That's why when they have that episode and the fire chief shows up, it's only red, blue, and green who get up and salute him because they worked directly under him. But the other two didn't, so they didn't have to salute him. And that's what I really like about that. I love that detail. What I really like is the family aspect, because, like you said, we have a lot of times in the episode where they're kind of at each other's throats. Because it's at sometimes the family aspect just really hurts. Red is only the leader because he's the oldest.
Yeah.
And that really ticks some of them off a bit because he asserts really stupid leadership things on the rest of them, and they're like, you're only the leader because you're the oldest.
That doesn't necessarily mean you're the best. Proof positive in that.
Yeah, no, we have that we have the Daimon episode, which is 10, I believe, which is
the
pretty much
soccer one?
Yep.
Yep, that one was 10.
Which delves into that a little, but you can definitely see that there is resentment that he's the leader solely because he's the oldest sibling.
Right.
Not on merit. Which he has the merit. Matoi is really good.
Yes.
I like him the best, but I really like Daimon for reasons that show up later, which kind of tie to this.
Well, see, I know the one thing, kind of once again on that family aspect, Matoi, like you said, he's just the leader because he's the oldest. But then you jump to, and this is kind of off topic, but it is on the family aspect. Who is the leader is the youngest, which I think his was more so of a merit thing, which is which I mean works for that one, but
I don't know. There are some episodes where I'm kind of like, why isn't Magic Green the leader? Oh well.
Either way, we're getting kind of off of GoGoFive.
No, it kind of ties with the whole family thing.
It does a little bit, but yeah.
kind of want to talk about like the 5 of them in an individual sense, because all of them
have their shining moments.
Oh yeah, no, but I think the one I want to talk about the most right now is Matsuri, Go Pink, because of the fact that of the 12 episodes we've watched, I think like 4 or 5 of them
with her.
I think 4 or 5 of them were Pink focus episodes.
I think so.
This is one of those cases where I'm just like, man, where's Zordon with that too much pink energy is dangerous clip?
Oh boy.
But yeah, we have.
I think it was like what 3 episodes. I think it was what episode 4. Was it 7 and then 9? I think.
Technically, 11 counts as a pink focus because we have this whole stuff with her on the bus.
Oh yeah, I didn't think of that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just there's a lot of focus on her, and the show gives you a really good way of finding out who the episode is a focus on, because when they do that screen cap thing,
yeah,
it will usually have one of the GoGoFive members there, and then like their respective color flame.
Yes, and that's actually a good indicator.
Well, it's also that for an example, you have that that hilarious episode with the doctor from England bringing that earthquake. Where
that was episode
where
7,
we also get like our first the GoGoFive get to fight 2 members of the 4 demon siblings. But when they do the roll call stuff, usually the person the episode is focusing on gets to do the first go, and then it either cuts to red or the other person the episode is focusing on.
And then usually the one thing that I've noticed, or at least it was there was one episode where the focus was on the pink, and Mint, the little robot thingy, pops up saying you can't use the sword without her. So it's almost like it's saying that
I think
she was the one in control, or like that particular or this one particular person, they're the one that actually controls bringing out the sword.
Well, no, it's the way they put it is
all 5 of them need to be together.
GoGoFive are only truly effective when all 5 siblings are together and working together.
Right.
So they couldn't summon the Braver Sword from Victory Robo, which we will talk about because that robot is amazing.
Yes, he is.
They can't summon the Braver Sword unless all 5 of them are there.
Right. But what I'm saying is it seems like whoever the episode is focused around, they're the one that summons the sword.
Yes.
Yes.
Which is another indicator of who's the focus of.
Then we do have the one pink episode with her losing her powers for a brief stint where she gets to do the Calamity Breaker.
Yes.
I think she's the only one who actually gets to hold the thing besides Red. The life
I think so.
I think
none of the others do.
In later episodes, the others get to. But yeah, Matsuri is actually really good. Like, I really hate doing this, but when I like compare her to Pink's like I'm just kind of like, why couldn't I'm be like this? Matsuri's really badass.
I think part of, and this is kind of a thing going with that argument. Earlier versions of the Pink Rangers. So basically, starting with Sentai all the way up to what we have, now. The stuff that was like the beginning up to probably about Time Ranger. Because even in Time Ranger, Time Pink was badass, just like Jin
Yes.
was in Time Force. I think, however, with Wild Force, since technically the White Ranger would also be classified as pink, that is when they kind of get that somewhat wimpy side. Or that's what I have noticed. If Pink Rangers after Time Ranger
kind of have
they go to being girly instead of being full on badass like what Matsuri was.
I think I actually.
Yeah, go ahead.
Or I was just gonna say I actually thought that change happened near, I think, a little bit later. I actually think didn't it happen more near like what, Deca Ranger or something, especially with Umiko?
No, I mean Umiko was just as badass.
Yeah, Umiko was actually really, really good. She had her quirks. She had her girly quirks, but
yes,
she kind of could wreck house like the rest of them.
Sorry.
Actually, Maji Ranger was the start of it, from what I can remember. Maji Ranger was the start of the Pink Ranger being a little.
For the love of God, no one mentioned episode 8. You should remember what that episode was, CJ.
Of
Maji Ranger.
Episode 8.
Let's not do that, but
yeah, let's not do that. Not right now.
That one.
No.
Remember?
No, we're going to move on.
Gosh darn it! Come on.
But anyway.
So yeah, it's actually really refreshing to have the pink this pretty darn badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think going up the ladder, we gotta talk about Daimon, which sadly we didn't get to. What is one of my favorite things about him? We got little inklings about it in episode 10, which is the whole milk thing. I find him really, really fun as the youngest brother.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that, and this is kind of hit on in one of the episodes, but he's the one that not only gets hurt a lot, but he's the one that makes the reckless decisions. And vicariously, those decisions either mean good things or very, very bad.
Well, yeah, he's the youngest. He has stuff to prove.
Yep.
Well, he thinks he does.
Matsuri.
I think it's more to his dad, but
I don't know. I mean, personally speaking, just what little bit we've watched in it, and I know that it'll get more into more detail later on, but just what I have seen, he's not really proving it. It doesn't seem like he's trying to prove anything to his dad. To me, it sounds like he's trying to more prove it to his oldest brother. Because it's always the brother that is ragging on him and just making him feel, this big. It's never his dad. Then again, his dad, at least
the dad's hilarious, and that.
Yes, we'll get to that.
Oh my God.
When we're done talking about the 5, we're going to talk about the dad because he's a hoot. Which I used that line in particular, but whatever. Yeah, no, Daimon, I really resonate with the guy because I'm the youngest of. Well, when it comes to brothers, I only have one brother, and he's older than me, so. But yeah, I think that he's really, really good, and I really wish we could get to the whole milk thing because it's hilarious. And for those who don't know, they kind of make a crack that he's kind of almost powered by the stuff, and he ends up gaining this really cool attack that I really hope I'm remembering the name right, but it's the Tornado Milk Drop.
What?
which is absolutely hilarious because he basically hucks a monster into the air, jumps, grabs him, flips it so their heads are both pointing down, and starts spinning and smashes him back into the ground.
Ow!
Alrighty then.
And it's a really fun attack that I don't remember when it happens.
Interesting.
Good old youth.
Oh yes. Gotta love the youth.
Any other thoughts on Daimon or Go Yellow?
Not really. I think you covered all the bases. He definitely is a little bit more reckless, but I still definitely enjoyed the character so far.
Yes.
So let's move up.
Moving on to Show.
Shaw.
Also known as Go Green.
Oh my god, I feel so bad for this guy.
I do too. Trust me.
I feel so incredibly bad for. So, with Show, we sadly kind of get hit with the saddest part of something that their dad does when he comes back, which is he basically gets all 5 of them fired from their jobs so they can full-time be GoGoFive.
Yeah.
And he's the one that comes biking in and says, "What the did you do?"
And this is mostly because of Show's dream of becoming a star pilot for the rescue squadron, or air rescue squadron.
So, and then of course, he has his love interest, which everyone seems, it almost sounds like, the dad's kind of moving in on that too. It's just like, no.
I don't think that's the case because one, she's far too young for him.
Whoa! Are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
I think that was more because he respects her, but yes, we're talking about Kyoko.
I want to talk about Kyoko at some point. I do.
We're gonna when we get to the characters who are not
the main 5.
The GoGoFive.
The GoGoFive.
But
yeah, no, Show kind of has to give up his dream, which sucks.
Yeah. And then he gets the ability to have it back, which this is the one cool thing that I do like about a particular red person that we will talk about later. Once he finds out that, he had this dream and he walks off, or that Show is walking off to do it, yes, the way that he goes about it is not cool, but he does try to at least respect Show enough to say, hey, if this is what you want to do, we support you. And you find out later on that no, Show's responsibility, or the way his mind is going, is like, no, my responsibility is to the GoGoFive. Would I love to do this? God, yes! But he understands where his loyalties lie and understands that his abilities would be more aptly used in the sense of the GoGoFive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that he learns the dream, he remembers it, which is...
Well, yeah.
Which is kind of dick for a bunch of siblings to forget one of them had this, super aspiring dream, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially when it involves a whole heck of a lot of homework that, if you don't like doing it, you don't want to, but then he did it anyway because that was what he wanted to do.
Yup.
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, any thoughts?
Not really. Once again, you guys are really covering the majority of the bases here, so there's not really that much I can say about Show, but overall, I like all the characters. Pretty much I can say the same thing for all the characters. All of them are really, really, really good. I love all the characters.
Well done. It's almost refreshing to see I wouldn't. Well, no, they are simple in their own way. Instead of having these complex, mysterious backstories. I'm looking at you, Tokuger.
Alrighty
Nice.
then.
Nice job there, and good job for twisting the knife a little bit.
Poor Tokuho. We'll forgive him later. Poor Tokuho.
But that leads up to Blue, who
Nagare.
sadly, in my opinion, save for one episode, has kind of been the most underdeveloped of the group at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and partly because, and this is honestly what is going through my head with the thought process of that he is the second oldest, meaning that he is technically one of the middle children, at least within the aspect of the brothers, because you have the one sister, so of course she's going to be known. But looking just from the context of the brothers, you have Daimon, who is the youngest. You have Matsui, who is the oldest, and then you have Nagare and Sho, who are the middle children. AKA, they get forgotten in some way, shape, or form. Sho's dream got forgotten, and at least at this point, Nagare's story was forgotten.
It seems like the only real development the character got, kind of, for me, was, I think, what, episode 3 it was?
3.
Yeah, episode 3.
3,
that one. Sort of in the sense
explosive.
of how, and that was both a Daimon and a Nagare episode.
Yes.
And in one way, Matoi, just to give
Yes.
some growth and understanding. You're attacking your brothers. Stop doing that.
Yes.
Yep.
But yeah, I really liked that episode.
Yeah, I did too.
That episode to me, that was one of the ones that really hit home the whole family aspect.
Yeah.
Because generally the middle children are forgotten. In some way, shape, or form. I mean, they are. It can't be helped. It happens. It happens more times than not, to be honest. So that one definitely really hit home the whole aspect of, yes, this is a family, because that one got forgotten about. That one's told that he's required to look out for his younger brother, and blah 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 blah, and just wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, does anyone else have any other thoughts on Nagare at this point?
The only thing that I have to say, and Noah, Volt, you probably know this a little better than what we do. I just hope to see more development on him. We've seen a lot of development on Matsui, however you say his name.
Matsui.
Daimon, Matsuri, and Sho. We haven't really seen much about Nagare, so I just hope that throughout the rest of the series that Nagare gets more growth, or we see more about him.
I do too. Again, I watched like bits of this in raw form, so I kind of can't give much information other than the milk tornado drop.
I have to find out what episode that is, just so
Oh
I can...
my god, I need to as well, because I missed that. He does it in Gao Ranger versus Super Sentai.
Ooh, interesting. Either way,
I
though...
believe he does, but yeah. That leads us to Go Red, Matoi. The oldest of the Tatsumi family siblings, and
Yep.
honestly, at some points, the most infuriating, but also this guy's personality keeps shifting.
Yes.
Amen.
because he goes from the hard-ass brother to the jokester to the aloof guy back to the hard-ass.
To the compassionate one, then back to the heart. I swear, I would almost say this guy is quadruple polar. You know,
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking he's really, really bipolar.
It's weird
he's
watching him
beyond
just, like,
bipolar.
bounce around like a ball in the game of Pong, just like in his personality. Because like you have these moments where he's very much the comical guy, the comical style Red. But then, like that, he's like grabbing one of the other members by the collar and punching him and saying, "No, that's not what we're about." And it's just weird.
That episode, that particular scene was very out of left field. It's like,
it's also
crap.
with the show episode where he gets with the like dangerous evil mold stuff.
Yes.
Like he starts laughing out loud in the middle of a fight, and the monster's like, "What are you laughing about?" And he's like, "It's family stuff. Don't worry about it."
Wow.
And
I remember that.
He smacks Nagare on the helmet while he's laughing, going, "Did you hear that?" It's just like, what the? Is this guy on drugs? I want some.
Get my way. Hey, whatever you're on, send it here, right here.
It's very fun to watch. But he does fill a lot of the Red archetypes, and I mean a lot because of this personality shifting.
Yes, it's like you have 3 or 4 different Sentai Reds just thrown into one.
Yeah, and he can never decide which one he really wants to be.
Hence the bipolar. It almost makes me wonder if he has multiple personality disorder. It's all like all the personalities are him, but you have the happy side, you have the evil rat bastard side, then you have the one I'm gonna mess you up side, and then I Lord have mercy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get sick with all these changes. Make me seasick. Just.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, personally speaking, I like Matsui. Simply because, yes, he's an evil. He can be an evil person to his family sometimes, like forgetting about Sho's dreams, punching Nagare. Was it Nagare that he punched?
No, it was Daimon.
He punched Nagare, Sho, and Daimon.
The only one he hasn't punched is Matsuri for obvious
and for good reasons.
He would be screwed. He would be messed up if he did that. She would. Oh Lord, have mercy. Anyway, so he fulfills the older brother role well. In that aspect, you see, because personally speaking, I am an older brother, so I'm not only like the guardian of my sister, I'm also the only one that's allowed to bully her. I have hit her a couple of times, but she deserved it, and we were younger, so it works out.
I don't know if that's something you should admit here, but
well, you need to get on the phone.
Well, I'll put it. Well, no.
Moving on.
Anyway, so I understand. Like I said, I do understand where Matsui is coming from. It's yes, in the aspect of a Red, it's all these different personalities thrown into one. But considering that it is a Sentai made of family, he fits it well. Not as a leader aspect, but as a older brother. Because older brothers, they're the only ones allowed to bully their siblings. They're the only ones allowed to beat up their siblings, because if anybody else does it, they're getting screwed up. You know. So I like his character. I really like his character.
I do too. Especially if the stock footage used in Lightspeed is any indication, he's going to get more and more awesome. Wait a minute, I just realized something.
What did you just realize?
Okay. So I don't know if this is like some curse on that red suit or not, but anyone who has to use that suit has this very sick inclination to run things over.
Oh God, yes! I swear, he either runs it over with a freaking car, or he hits you with the motorcycle. You're getting hit one way or another.
Or
you are
he
getting hit.
shoots a giant monster with just his 2 hand pistols.
It's okay. For those who don't get this, if you've watched Power Rangers, you know the whole thing about Carter Grayson in Lightspeed, and how the first episode, his first instinct when he sees a monster is to run it over.
Literally.
That's actually a good instinct. He tries to use the Lightspeed Jeep to do that. But with Matoi, he's already morphed and he's already fighting the very first monster. No, the second one. From episode 2. And in the middle of a fight, he looks around and he sees a beat-up car over there, runs up, gets in it, somehow starts it. Whoever owns that car, you're really bad at keeping the car safe. Because you left the keys in the ignition in an abandoned shipping container yard. Okay. And he proceeds to run the monster over with the car, and it's stuck on the hood. And then he flips the thing and causes it to roll around and land upside down with the monster still under it. He gets out and he's all like, oh man, that was crazier than I thought. And then the car blows up.
That is one of the most hilarious moments in the entire show.
That was actually my favorite episode. God, that was hilarious.
And then the monster comes out of that, and their first thought is, Lifebird! Or no, the dad calls and says, use the Lifebird, and he calls it, and they do the Calamity Breaker, and it's just kind of...
Yeah.
It's insanity!
It's the older brother. What do you expect?
But yeah, now that we've gotten past those, I think we should probably talk about some of the more side characters. Let's first start off with Mondo.
Mondo!
Yes.
Oh my god, I love this guy to death.
I swear, I do not think this guy... Okay, just based on what little bit we have seen him talk, because he's a very mild-mannered, quiet person. I swear, I don't ever want to see that man mad, because he looks like one of these people that will wring your neck with a look. He sounds so calm. Like, so far we have not heard him raise his voice above a certain decibel level, and even then he's just like, "Hey, do this," but it's not in a I'm agitated way. It's more of a, hey, look, got an idea, do this. I don't ever want to see him pissed off. Because if he gets pissed off, you think Majui running over crap is going to be bad.
I'm even scared of that.
Yes.
I mean, there's also the fact that the guy doesn't care half the time.
No, he doesn't.
It's not even like sometimes when he's being like very uncaring to his kids. It's just sometimes The episode with the fire chief. He doesn't care about explaining it to the fire chief. He knows he's right, so he's saying, Matoi, do this.
Yeah.
And
Which gets explained later on, the whole rivalry thing, but
well,
still.
it's not even that. It's just he doesn't care about explaining it to Chief Inui. He just kind of tells Matoi to do something. And then it turns out, yeah, no, there was a reason.
It turns out, hey, it's a good thing he did this.
Yes.
Yeah, because the wind could have blown, and, well, sadly, all those people would have been lit on fire. That's the thing about this show, by the way. They have no... This is kind of about a topic I'm going to get into, a little ranty about how... just Sentai this old is so different from how it is now. Because they show not even like actual people dying, but like the possibility of people dying a lot.
What I have seen in this is that when it comes to shut up, I don't want to talk to y'all. Not y'all. My phone keeps on beeping.
No one asked you, phone.
Pretty much. It's like, no one asked your opinion. Anyway, what I have noticed, I've watched bits and pieces of Chew Ranger. I've seen this. Noah, Volt, I am taking your thunder for this. The episode with the freaking vampire thing. You know exactly where I'm going with this, okay? In older Sentai, the possibility that there is death, okay? There's one particular episode. This vampire thing has the ability to suck the energy out of equipment and humans.
Out of anything.
I mean, anything. So, it's in the air, it's flying, there goes the hill. It's like, oh look, there's a helicopter. My energy! And the helicopter with the pilots in it crashes and explodes. So not only are the pilots dead, the people that are in the surrounding area are dead. The people in the first floor building that it crashes into are dead. Older Sentai, it covers the possibility of death so much more than what newer Sentai does. I mean, Shinkenger had it some, because I mean that was one of the ones where I really watched a person have a sword go through them and then they were thrown off a bridge. But now seeing older Sentai and this become a prominent thing, I'm just like, oh my god. They just died.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, heck, I'm trying to remember the fight this was, but one fight with Victory Robo, it straight up runs a guy through.
Oh,
just grabs him, stabs him with the victory, with the Braver sword. Just right through the guy's stomach.
I don't know which one that was, but I have to check.
And then pulls it out and does victory prominence. And it's just kind of... You guys have no problem with old school violence.
No, I do not.
No, well, I'm talking the show because...
Oh.
Again, that stuff wouldn't have... Like, this is a case of... If you look at a lot of stuff now, like, we'll use Tokuger and use, like, the track saber that,
the Fumikiri Ken.
And then you look at, like, we'll use Cocker Ranger and the fact that they have regular katanas. You're just kind of like, what happened?
Yeah.
Why do we have to have these, like, really toy weapons now. Instead of, the
Well,
katana or...
Well, the 5 laser was kind of a bit of a toy weapon, in my opinion.
Well,
the thing
it
is,
still looked majority like a gun.
yeah.
It didn't have like this big stocky top to it that's supposed to unfold into a blade or any of that.
It actually is really, like, I've actually, and this is just from a toy perspective as well, looking at the 5 laser, the designs, and this is going a little bit off topic, but the designs in GoGoFive, the designs of everything from the suits to the Zord to the Mecha to the weapons are all really, really, really well done.
You
stole that from me.
Well, that's kind of the thing with that is though, no, I think the reason why, and if my brain would cooperate and talk, the thing is I think even in Japan there was a slight shift in,
tone.
The whole aspect of, hence why the stuff in earlier series that had swords, were real swords, because I mean, looking at Chew Ranger, Tyranno Ranger, his sword, it looked like a freaking sword, and like
the axe looks like an axe, and all the other stuff looks like actual
daggers.
But and this is kind of tied to a really annoying factor right now with current Sentai and Rider, which is at the present moment, Bandai's kind of sitting in the writer's room watching, and it's really not good when that happens because they're kind of looming over some writers' shoulders, and they'll just kind of go, "Nah, don't do that. It won't sell well."
And my main problem with that is,
because I mean,
I don't think they know what's going to sell well. Is the thing, like,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, in the past, this sold really well. Stuff with, I mean, it was wonderful. Why couldn't that work now? I mean, it worked fantastically then.
If you break the toys down for GoGoFive, you have Victory Robo, 5 Laser, Laser Grip, the Lifebird, the Go Liner. Later you get Victory Mars.
And then Liner Boy.
Yeah. And you also get the Liner Brace. And that's like 8 or 7 toys. But then
you have the Victory Robo, of course, and then the Go-Go Brace.
Well, yeah, there's the Go Brace. So it's like 9 toys. We already mentioned Victory Robo. But it's just kind of like, then you look at current Sentai, and it's like, again, with Tokyuger, you have the Tokyo Brace, you have the Tokuo, then you have the little gun that turns into a sword, then you have the individual weapons, so that's 5. Then you have all the like support Resha, like shields and car carrier and the scope Resha, tank, and just all of, there's so many, and it really feels Sentai is currently just more obsessed with selling toys than it is with presenting a good show.
And that could possibly be and that could very well be the thing that their mindset is looking at. And I mean, is it the best mindset to look at? Probably not, because I mean, making a comparison, all right. And so this is somewhat off topic, but it's also on topic. Making a comparison, comparing. We'll just look at GoGoFive. Look at GoGoFive, the storyline, the way it's written, and then look at recent Sentai. Look at Tokuger, Kyuukyuu, Go Busters. Yes, those GoGoFive does not have as extensive a toy line, but the story is just like, oh my god, and it just captures you back. Later Sentai, it's taking its time.
The story and the characters make up for the lack of the toy line and make you want to stick around. I mean, I'm really sure that there were also like little figures that went with the toys and stuff. It's like just in terms of stuff like this, there wasn't much. So it's just looking at this from someone who hasn't seen a lot of older Sentai. I've seen like I've seen some of Sun Vulcan in raw form, and man, that show is weird.
I think, speaking of, though, to go slightly off topic, I think Sun Vulcan is actually fully subbed.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to go watch Sun Vulcan.
We need to cover that at some point. We have to.
No.
Anyway.
I'm just gonna watch it for personal reasons. Because I really like Vol Eagle. But anyways, yeah, it's just more time is put to the story and the characters. And I really like that. It took us 12 episodes to introduce a new toy.
Yeah. And then you look at
everyone who's watching this, I want you to think on that, and then look at like recent Sentai and Rider, and think, what is the longest episode gap that you can remember between a new toy being revealed?
Yeah, that is a good point.
It's like mind blowing.
Well, specifically, like what comes to mind is like Tokuger. You know, you have
I'm kind of wrong there. It's like maybe 9 or 10 because they introduced the Lifebird and the Attacker Bike, but that's about it.
Don't you mean the Attack Commander?
Yeah, I think it's Command Attack, whatever. But it's like after they introduced that bike, they really don't get anything until Grandliner.
Pretty much.
And that's kind of crazy.
That's definitely crazy by our standards today. Because looking at Tokuger, you have Tokuo, you have the brace, you have that little belt buckle thing, you have the gun that comes with the spare Resha, and then like 3 or 4 episodes in, you get the there's the car carrier Resha, then a few more, then like 1 or 2 episodes later there's the tank, a few episodes later. It's like we're only on episode tomorrow will be episode 25, and we already have 3 Megazords, or three main Mecha, and then 4 support Resha that are not part of those primaries, plus all the other toys that have been introduced, and it's just like, holy cow! I mean, they've just sort of packed all of it in at once.
Yeah. It's just a little jarring, and to a lot of people listening, this isn't us trying to bash current Sentai.
No,
because I really enjoy a lot of the more recent stuff. It's just when I look at stuff from old compared to now, I see. And this is really the only way I can put it, there's this piece of Sentai's soul missing.
I would agree with that.
And I want it back, because it's so good!
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on that. I mean, any topics actually right now to bring up, because, I mean, we were talking about Mondo, and I just realized how I segued off of that.
Yeah, but we were talking about designs and stuff, which, as we said, the designs and everything are really, really, really good. But getting on to characters, there's one last character I want to talk about before we actually get more into designs and into, like, some of the different things of the show. Kyoko.
Oh no, we have
This
Shows
characters
love
after her.
interest.
We have characters after her because I mean.
We do still have
Well,
Emily.
Yeah,
You still have who?
I have things. The demons.
Oh, yeah, the demons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I really kind of want to talk about them. I mean, we haven't had much time with them, but there are a couple things that I really like.
But getting to Kyoko seems very interesting to me, just in general. How, like, there are some episodes where she's not in, but there are also some episodes where she's fully part of what's going on.
Well, and two, the thing that I find interesting about her is even though she is being told, well, not necessarily verbally, but it's there. No, we don't want your help. She still comes back and pretty much says, no, let me help. She's persistent, and at least helping with getting a Grand Liner put together. She does finally get to help. So I guess the persistence and the tenacity that she has is actually a very good character strength that she has.
I think in a way they were setting her up early because they might have been thinking on, do we want to do the Sixth Ranger thing, even though the thing is called GoGoFive, which kind of makes a lot more sense when you think about it, because how did we meet her? She was in a space shuttle that's crashing.
Yeah.
In the US, what's Titanium's Megazord turn into?
A space shuttle.
Like, I think about this, it's like, I really think they were...
It's common sense.
I think they were maybe setting her up early to possibly become a Sixth Ranger,
but
then decided to stick with the whole GoGoFive thing.
So what's funny is
I'll be honest. If any of them was going to be another Ranger, I would honestly see the old man be trying to do it. Much like Kyuukyuu Violet tried to do, and he failed miserably.
Yeah, but then he passed it down to Kyoko. But it's just kind of a thing that I notice.
Can I interject something though?
Yeah.
I think it was from the movie, if I'm correct, but there was someone in the movie, it was a ranger-like ally. His name was Zeke, actually. And I think Kyoko at some point actually dressed up, and actually henshined, if you want to call it, into this so-called hero. So I think it's from the movie, though. It's from the GoGoFive movie, I believe. So but that's more of an unofficial thing.
Beast Demon Hunter Zeke.
Yep,
dude is so Beetleborg.
Oh goodness, yes.
This is so insanely just. Oh man, hang on. Dude is so Beetleborg.
Yes. That looks straight out of Beetleborg's Metallics. I'm not even joking.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you guys on that one.
It's actually really interesting.
Beetleborg's Metallics. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But yeah, she did actually serve, she actually was a Sixth Ranger, if you call it, but that was only really in the movie, so there really wasn't much of a,
She became Zeke Jean.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Interesting. Kyoko though is, I'll say one thing, she got spunk.
What do you mean by that?
She don't take shit from no one.
Exactly.
No kidding.
I'm just waiting for one of them to make a move on her, and she's gonna smack them down. Sorry, show.
I can't wait for that. I just can't wait.
Yeah. I really can't figure out more to say about her other than really she don't take shit from nobody.
Pretty much.
And I think that leads us to the Demon family.
Oh yes.
Oh my
Oh,
god,
yeah.
I love these.
Family.
I love these guys because they're so. First and foremost, Drop does shit.
Yes, a
He is
baby,
a
a
baby.
freaking
And
infant.
he does something.
Like, okay. For those who don't know the name changes, Drop is Impus from
Lightspeed rescue.
Lightspeed, and he does stuff. He actually
When he's a little baby.
Yeah, when he's still in the little baby form. But like, and when I say does stuff, each episode it's a different member of the family is asking for one of their demons to be summoned, and it's very much still the card thing, but each of them has their own element to them.
Yeah, and they summon them by what? They summon them by an incantation, I believe.
Well, they give them to Pierre because he's the only one who can do it.
Yes,
and it's really cool. Like you have a Kobold whose U.S. name I can't remember. He's the big one of the demons, and his element is Earth. Well, Venus is water.
Who is that? Oh, that's Loki. That's
Yeah.
Loki.
Or Loki. Or
Loki. Sorry, pronounced that wrong.
And then drop his fire.
Yeah, and like it's hilarious because the shot of him doing something is him talking in his little baby talk, and then a card just pops up on top of him.
It's just like
the baby's doing stuff, and this is the really crazy part, because they kind of foreshadow that Drop is the most powerful of the four, because of all the monsters summoned, his kind of does the most damage.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the Helgerus.
Well, I'm talking like the first one he summons. It came really close to winning.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It came like about that close to winning.
Although
it's pretty crazy.
Here's the one funny thing though that I find interesting about the Disaster Demon family. Pierre is the only one that can understand him, it seems. It doesn't really come across that the other three siblings can understand him. No, it's the little mosquito man that can. And that's just like, okay, what language is this baby speaking to where only you can understand it, dude?
Also, I like just with the, I'm calling them the Sima family. I'm not going to call them the Dismadesest. I can't pronounce it like that.
It's Demon family.
I'm calling them the Sima family just because that's what it is in the Japanese. But for the Sima family, what I really like, and this is kind of a theme with GoGoFive, and I think it's the same with Lightspeed Rescue, and it's that there's a very overt and very, not necessarily blatant, but there's a very obvious magic versus technology theme within the show. So I like how the family is very much magic-based, how they use their incantations and spells to summon the monsters and use those powers, and then that contrasts with the GoGoFive using a lot of their man-made technology.
Alright.
Okay, I get where you're going with that, but I think you're doing it deliberately to just say that technology is better than magic, which,
No, I'm not saying that technology is better than magic. I'm saying I
That
like that
technology
there's.
is.
No, I'm not doing that.
I'll let you live this time.
I'm not
But no,
doing that intentionally. I just believe
I,
that. What?
I will say in this one instance, just because, I'm the whole good is better than bad thing. In this instance, technology is the badass thing, and it is winning. Now, on the whole magic thing of this demon family, I wish to God that they had actually made a set of the cards that are used in that series to summon those things. I'm not normally one to support the baddies or buy anything relevant to the baddies. I want those cards, though. Those cards are freaking awesome.
They really, really kind of are.
I would have to agree.
I mean, and it's. I do like that I do like that contrast, though. And yes,
Oh, yeah.
it's shocking to hear me say this because I'm normally one to say that that the two are the two should be
Even.
looked at with equal viewpoints because they're with very different viewpoints because they are very different things. But in this instance, I like the contrast because you see this family using this, and then bless you, and then
Thank
you
you.
see you see this family using magic, and they're the ones trying to cause all the damage and problems and blah blah blah. And then you see the good guys, they're using this high class freaking technology, and they're winning. So it's interesting to see technology win, but I still vote for Magic any day.
Hmm.
Hence my love for Magic Ranger.
Yep.
But yeah, so far the Sima family is really, really cool. But I think there's more to talk about than just what is it, Drop and a few of the others. Is there anything else you want to say, Volt, about anyone else in the family?
Genius.
There's really not much to talk about other than, like, Venus is pretty darn smart. Like, the other two really haven't done much, and I really want to see more out of them because they're really cool.
Well, I think my thing is we so far, like you said, we've basically seen Drop and Venus outsmart, all come this close to completely outsmarting the GoGoFive. The
Oh,
other
yeah.
two, the other two just sort of get their butts handed to them on a regular basis. But Venus and Drop, those two are the two that are the closest to
Winning.
beating the GoGoFive to smithereens. So,
Yeah,
and like we said, Drop's a freaking infant.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
and it also just shows that Venus is very underhanded. I mean, very cold and cruel. Oh, that
bitch.
woman. Oh, that woman.
Pretty much.
I swear, yes.
Yeah. Overall, I think oh, wait.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the last part that I would want to talk about family wise out of this is I saw with a little bit of Grandine, Grandinu, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Grandeur.
What?
It's Grandine.
Grandine. The little bit of the hints that we're getting at Grandine, she's actually being built up pretty darn well.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
she's very much like Banshira.
Yeah.
It's handled
Well,
with a lot of gravitas.
yeah, and then
And
having her do this whole thing with and once again going back to episode 11 with them defeating the monster, and then bam, just out of nowhere, the
Magma
Magna
Golem's
Golem
back.
comes back and then revives the monster to make it even more powerful, and the Victory Robo just gets its butt kicked so badly, and I'm thinking to myself,
You've never
oh
been able
my,
to fight 2-on-1.
yeah.
Oh god.
I'm thinking if this is Grandine in her not even completely revived form yet, I can't imagine how awesome she's gonna be once she gets fully revived in the series.
This is just her, like, kind of going
Being in
curse
the
you
area.
bastards, and like that alone causes stuff to happen. So again, they treat her with some pretty darn great gravitas. She's also the mom of the other 4 demons, by the way.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's my favorite part of the family versus family, because you have the GoGoFive who are led by the dad,
and then you
have the Death Demons who are led by the mom.
Interesting.
This shit's kind of crazy.
Yes. But oh god. I just had a weird
Don't say
thought.
it. Don't say it. Just don't move along. Move along.
Oh, why not? Can't I say it? It'd just be so awesome.
Oh, fine.
It'd be interesting, and I know it doesn't happen, but just as a weird freaking twist, Grandine just falls in love with Mondo, and
I wish that happened. I wish
what I'm
thinking is some like crazy Mondo charm that I'm really sure he's got.
I have no idea. It would be really weird thinking about that if Grandine has anything at all to do with Mitsuru. And if you don't know who Mitsuru is, for the people watching, Mitsuru is Mondo's dead wife.
Ritsuko. Her name was
Oh,
Ritsuko.
right, Ritsuko. What?
Man.
What am I doing? I am idiot. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry. I was like Mitsuko, and I'm like, what? What am I talking about?
Bad. Yeah, no, it's...
That just came off the top of my head. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Okay.
A lot of people like kind of thought that Grandine would be somehow be Ritsuko. I actually don't know if that happens. That's why I want this show to finish being subbed.
Really Hikari Senshi, hurry up.
I will come after you. Okay. I'm getting too excited here.
I'm getting too excited too.
Anywho, next character.
Actually, we're kind of out of characters, and we're going to go on the probably like 10-minute rant, then wrap up, I think. 10-minute rant being, why can't design-wise Sentai be like this again? I've fully accepted we're never going to get a robot like Grandliner again.
No.
And it hurts. It hurts to think about it. Because the last one that was actually even close to being as cool as Grandliner was Die Voyager. And I like Die Voyager.
And you what?
And I really like Die Voyager.
I do too.
But when I look at Die Voyager compared to him, I want more of him.
Of course.
Yeah.
But anyways, why do you make this whole argument? Like, you know,
it's when you look at the mecha as time has go on, and like CJ asked you to grab a couple to kind of show this.
I have them.
It's like if you look at Victory Robo, then I believe I asked you to show Magic King.
Yep. Who is right here.
And like there's been this change. Like you can still tell that it's still streamlined in a way and
Yes.
built in a way to have a human inside.
Yes. Head, chest, hips, everything else.
Legs. And the
Head,
same.
chest, hips, legs.
But then, and this is where we come back to hurting on poor Tokyuger. You look at Tokuo.
Head. There are no hips.
What is going on here?
The legs are also the shoulders. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I swear, the comment that someone has made about Tokuo is that all it needs is a good crotch plate. Just to signify that this area right here is the hip line. As it is, this thing has no hip line. But here's the weird thing. I'll even put him together real quick. I mean, the other two primary mecha that are involved in. Oh, I might want to turn his arms the other way. That might be the reason why they're not working. The other two primary mecha in the series. Why are you not going back on?
Bit of malfunction here.
More malfunction. Like they look like they're kind of like you can put a person in them.
Yes, it's. I mean, looking at Build.io and Dieselo, humans could easily go in that. Like, I'm not going to put it all completely together, but this is partial Build.io. It has a definite head, chest area where the hips are, legs. Same thing for Dieselo. But looking at Tokuo, it ain't there.
Yeah.
So the point. Or no, go ahead.
It's just weird because I kind of want it to be like this again, or like these guys. But it's so much about making them look super crazy.
Yes. Like I'm getting ready to show, because if I can get it
to operate. And so it's kind of just, when I look at Sentai now and back then, I kind of have this yearning feeling to see Sentai go back to the more old school mecha styles. I would love to have another robot like Victory Robo.
I think a lot of us would, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Muteki Daishogun.
Oh.
If we had another Muteki Daishogun, that'd be great.
Yes, it would be.
Well, here's one thing that I have noticed of recent Sentai, kind of staying on the topic of the mecha. It seems like in recent years, starting mostly with Shinkenger, that the primary focus in creating a mecha is to try and throw as much shit on it as you possibly can.
Unless you have
Samurai Hao.
Though I will admit the primary form of Shinkano, as you can see, does have a defined chest, waist, hip, legs, arms, head, etc.
That's not what I'm saying. What
I know,
I'm
but I
saying
understand.
is you have like Samurai Hao, which has the base form of Shinkano, but then you have all this other stuff just piled on top. I mean, right here is, as Volt calls it, Choo-Choo Tokyo Dio. And I mean, this is like the biggest cluster F in the world. Because pieces are coming out of which way, I can't tell you what's what.
Choo-choo! Pain train coming through!
Pretty much. So, I mean, I can see the argument of I would much rather... I do like the more streamlined aspect of stuff like GoGoFive and Kaku Ranger and even Chew Ranger. I mean, even Chew Ranger had a big bulky Megazord, but it was streamlined even. Because if you look at can't tell you what its name is, but the Ultrazord, the one that's the Dragon Caesar, Daichujin, and King Brachio.
Dude's huge.
The dude's huge, but it works. It's not all of these pieces being thrown together, unlike Samurai Hao and the Go Buster King even, or Choo Choo Tokyo Dio. I mean,
I think it was called. I think it's just called Ultimate Daijujin. I think is what it was.
Yeah,
Anywho.
I believe that was it. And I really hope
think
that
so.
becomes a thing. I want everyone to call that thing Choo Choo Tokyo Dio.
Well, I'm in the habit of it now, thanks to you.
But yeah, I just miss that soul that like stuff like this was a part of. You'll get your day once again, buddy.
Yes, as will you.
I still want that.
You ain't getting it from me. Anywho, I don't know. The design aspect, it seems to me, though, looking strictly at design, be it the mecha, be it the suit, the weapons, the real shift that I have seen, once again, earlier Sentai was wonderful, but the shift that I have seen where it's kind of taken this weird turn and not being as streamlined and being as nice and pretty and yay was actually Bokenger, because Bokenger is where you get introduced to Ultimate Daiboken. And even
God.
even that thing, like that thing was the first original modern day clusterfuck. Am I allowed to say that on this?
Yes.
I've been cursing all day long like a sailor. Thanks, Grandpa.
But Ultimate Daiboken was literally the modern day original clusterfuck. It was it's bulky. I mean, even the American version is extremely bulky. Just because the U.S. thought bigger was better. Yeah, sure. What are they compensating for? Anywho, but the designs and all of the mecha have really started to kind of decrease, starting with Bokenger. I mean, even if you look at Geki Ranger, their suits are good, their weapons are good, but the mecha are primarily, and please, both of you, correct me if I'm wrong, at least from what I can understand, the mecha is what sells the series. Am I right? At least in terms of toys. I mean, that's one of the biggest drives in the sales.
Yeah. They didn't have much in terms of like roleplay stuff. They had the Knuckles. It wasn't until you got stuff like the Gong Changer or the Side Blade or the Super Geki Claw that you had like really good roleplay stuff. But those didn't come around until much later.
So the mecha and all are at least with Geki Ranger are the primary runners, and then you get introduced to the Rhinoceros and all the many different and the big combination that happens.
The Side-Io.
Side-Io Geki Rintoja.
Yes, and that thing is freaking huge.
My God, that thing's a giant.
And then you look at GoOnger. G12 is a freaking huge, massive cluster. And then Hyper Gosei Great is a massive cluster. I mean, it's becoming a regular thing of at least in terms of the mecha, hey, let's throw in everything that we possibly can. I mean, I'm honestly surprised that with Kyuukyuu Tokyo, thanks a lot, Volt, there's not a place to put the fire Resha, the police Resha, the shield and scope, or the drill. I mean, it surprises me. But I digress.
Yeah,
So,
and I'm not just I'm not harping solely on Tokuju here. I will harp on other people, such as, man, Buster Ace was great until they started adding crap to it.
Oh God, yes. Like Go Buster O or Great Go Buster O was okay.
No, I basically liked Go Buster O and at most Buster Hercules.
Yeah.
But when they combined everything, I just groaned to form Great Go Buster.
Yeah, Go Buster O.
Groaned. No,
Well,
it was
then,
just called,
Great Go Buster's the
I
name.
believe it was just called Great Go Buster.
yeah, and then of course you have Go Buster King, and
Well, Go Buster King was just the regular version.
No, Go Buster King was a combination of Tatagamio, Leo, the gorilla,
Okay.
the rabbit, the frog, and the two beetles.
Mm-hmm.
Weird.
The only one that got left out of that combination was Ace.
Oh, thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So Ace is no longer screwed up for you.
My God. I mean, I'm now looking at some of these, and it's like they're That's insane.
What's insane?
They're showing the height difference between Buster Ace and Great Go Buster, and it's just kind of like
Here's what By the way, may I ask something? Why in the
What?
living heck are we talking about what is it? Why are we talking about Go Busters when this is a GoGoFive podcast?
Because it's kind of tying to the fact that, man, when I'm watching GoGoFive, I really, really like the robots more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I want the aesthetic of that back. I don't want this cluster crap anymore.
And not. Yes, the cluster mess is getting old. I mean, yes, I have my Kyuukyuu Tokyo. I like my Kyuukyuu Tokyo. However, at the same time, I would like to at least start seeing Sentai, at least in terms of the mecha, get more aesthetically comparable.
Back to basics.
Back to something like this, where you can tell, oh, there's supposed to be a body in there. Not necessarily this, where you're like, where does the body go?
That's all we're really saying is, man, I miss these days. And I think that's about the end of it, because we are going on a rant that's gonna go for miles if we don't.
So,
Plus, we're almost at 2 hours, so I feel bad about that.
anyways,
final thoughts on the first 12 of this really good series.
Well, exactly that. It is a really good series. I'm with you. I want the rest of it to hurry up and get subbed, because I want to see it. I like the way this story plays out. I like the way that these actors and actresses are working together to actually portray being a family, because they are pulling it off so damn well. And I like the way that the demon people are portraying the family, because they're portraying it very well too. They're fussing, fighting, and arguing amongst themselves. So I want to see a lot more.
Yep.
And I can't wait to see more.
Yep.
me, I'm kind of really in the same boat. I enjoy all the characters. I think the characters are very well written, and they all have distinct personalities. Even though like Nagare hasn't gotten as much development yet, though I believe he will get more soon enough. Um, the Saima family is really good as well. Just the family versus family aspects are nice. I like the idea of the fighting within each other, not just fighting the enemy, but of the families fighting within each other and having their conflicts and almost the themes that come with family and how that's a huge theme. And the designs and the mecha and everything are really good. The one last thing that I want to mention is with the family, wow, I literally just had it in my head and then it just boom, I just kind of forgot what I was going to say, kind of, and it's really weird. I literally just had something in my head and then it's just like poof, it just went off right when I was about to say it. Oh good. But I'll let Noah speak and say his mind, and hopefully in that time I will remember.
Okay. To put my opinions of this show very simply, it's good. It's really fucking good. If you are having these moments with current Sentai and you're just like, why are they doing that? Go watch this. Go watch some older Sentai. It's out there. Go watch Die Ranger. Go watch Mega Ranger. Go watch GoGoFive. They're all good. And it's just this refreshing change of pace. And I think I might do that. I might go watch some much older Sentai to go and enjoy a different time. In fact, go watch Jetman. Jetman's amazing.
Oh, you don't even want to know that. Don't get me started on Jetman. Don't even get me started.
I'm done. But just, if you are having those moments where you're just exasperated with a lot of what current Sentai does, and some people are, and that's okay. It happens. But go enjoy some older Sentai.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great. And if you've never seen older Sentai and you've like jumped on in like the last 5 years on the Toku bandwagon, go watch older Sentai. Your mind will be blown.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And actually, on that note, do keep in mind that Kyuranger is actually being brought here to the U.S. to be subbed. If it's
my God, I hope that's like a testing ground of them seeing if there's interest in Sentai, like official Sentai DVDs over here.
Like if there is going to be, I'm going to support that. I'm gonna freaking buy those. But
I am too.
Oh, trust me. I will delete my folder on my hard drive yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like if this is a testing ground, I will support it. If this means you will bring like DVDs with subtitles for Rider and Sentai, if you bring me DVDs with subtitles for Blade, I will buy them. Do you hear me, Japan? I will buy that. Please.
But the last thing I want to talk about now that I remembered is one more thing that I really like about the GoGoFive in general is just with the motif. And this is very much part of Lightspeed Rescue as well, of course, because it's part of the adaptation. But I really like that with GoGoFive, the defenses. It's the fact of how yes, they are combat based and they're there to defeat the enemies, but that another thing that they're really supposed to do is for emergency services. They're supposed to be used for the emergency parts of it. You know what I mean? What do I mean? Evacuation. They're supposed to help people. Ambulances. All these different things.
Matsuri will do medical assistance on the fly. It's.
Mm-hmm.
they're not just there to fight the monsters. They're there to protect and defend the city.
And that's what I love so much about GoGoFive is that they're the core representation of that.
Yep.
Of being both a defensive and offensive force. So I really enjoyed that. I like the themes of family. I like the themes of, the magic versus technology. I like all the characters. I like the designs. I like the setup. So far, really everything is working really well. I just love this show. I barely have any complaints with it at all.
It's good stuff, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. and the storyline is more attention grabbing a lot quicker, a lot sooner in the series than what recent Sentai has been.
I will say this not as like a mean jab to Hikari Senshi, but that first line about the Grand Cross made me laugh so much. When the Grand Cross appears, bad stuff will happen.
Yes.
Sorry. I know one of the people Hikari Senshi, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh shit! When does the universal alignment mean bad shit?
Perhaps
oh
it's
God.
Go down.
Are you down?
But like I said,
CJ, I'm gonna kill you after this podcast. I'm gonna kill you.
Hey, there are no killings on podcasts that I host, unless I'm the one doing the killing.
Okay, I can agree to that. Anyways, I think we need to end this sucker.
Oh yeah, no, we've been going for much longer, and I do apologize for anyone who stuck around for that whole time. But I also thank you for being a faithful viewer.
Same here.
Yes.
Kuga thumbs up, even though this isn't a Kuga podcast. So
we're terrible people. Yeah, to wrap it up, we'll just do our shameless plug. After saying thanks for sticking around for our podcast light, I understand it's just the three of us, and that's kind of boring.
Either way. Anyways.
But we all enjoyed it.
Like always with my plugs, if you live in the Puget Sound area, basically Washington State, me and my dad run a freelance IT business. We can fix your computer, your network. We can set your computer up, your network, whole 9 yards. You can find out more at our website, which is in the link below, and you can email us at the email link also in the description below. DJ?
All I have is my reviews, which I'm still doing as best I can with my crazy work schedule. Link for the channel as well as the Facebook are down below in the description. Go like, comment, subscribe. I am also accepting constructive feedback just because I am still getting used to doing all of this. So, yeah. That's all I got.
For me, I still have my channel. I have the Toku Buster channel up. Links are down below. I have my DeviantArt page. I have all my stuff there. With the Toku Buster, a little bit of an update is now that I finally have a new computer and new headphones and everything, I'm going to see if I can get these programs and get things set up to where I can finally start making the episodes and getting things set up. So hopefully soon I will have a few episodes up or in the next couple months or so. So in the next couple of weeks, probably expect an episode, the Toku Buster, coming up for double, which is what I originally planned to do. So I'm going to stick with that. But links are down below. Also for Sebi and for Adrian, everyone else, the Otaku Blogger is down below.
Let's Talk Toku.
Let's Talk Toku, everything else, all links are down below. Links to the articles are all down below if you want to look at those as well.
All 2 of them.
Yep, all 2 of them. And most importantly, there are links for our Facebook page, the YouTube page, Tumblr, Twitter, etc., etc. And like, favorite, comment, subscribe. Click all the buttons that you got want to, except the dislike button, please. I don't want anyone pushing those buttons. But thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. And it would be nice also to have feedback to know how we're doing. If there's any topics you want us to do or any shows you want us to talk about, etc., tell us and we'll do our best. So thanks for sticking around, and I hope you guys enjoyed.
One last thing before we end this. Adrian and Dylan, we all hope you are having fun at Power Morphicon.
Yes. Shout out. Shout out to Adrian and Dylan. Power Morphicon, baby. Power Morphicon.
High five all the actors. And that's about all the end of it.
Yes.
So we're going to go lights out and go do our own things after this. So thanks for sticking around and have a lovely evening.
Moeru Rescue Damashi. Kyuukyuu Sentai. Go, go. 3, no, 5.
No Grandine Dono Yamate!